An American F-22 Raptor shot down what the American Defense Department called a high-altitude surveillance balloon with a single missile off South Carolina. Now, why would an American Raptor go after a spy balloon, right? Navigating satellites might be the preferred option for many nations, but have you ever seen an old-fashioned spy balloon hovering over the sky? That's the question many people are asking, after the U.S. jet shot down a Chinese spy craft hovering over U.S. military bases. Why would China use a spy balloon when it has satellites? The answer to this question is what everyone is looking for. But before we step into the reasons, we want to take you back to where it all started, some days back. News of an alleged Chinese spy balloon floating over the U.S. has left many wondering why Beijing would want to use a relatively unsophisticated tool for its surveillance of the U.S. mainland. Whatever the purpose might be, this action was not taken lightly by Washington, and it resulted in the postponement of Antony Blinken's visit to China. Now we need to understand that balloons are one of the oldest forms of surveillance technology. The Japanese military used them to launch incendiary bombs in the U.S. during World War II. They were also widely used by the U.S. and Soviet Union during the Cold War. But this spy balloon is not like some World War II death machine. Rather, it is something that has made even the smartest in the U.S. scratch their head. But how unusual are spy balloons these days? This isn't the first time in recent history that a balloon from China has been spotted by foreign security officials. It has been quite a while now since Beijing likes to make it interesting. Now the thing is, the State Department has confirmed that the spy balloon operation was carried out by the PLA. But the twist came when Chinese officials denied the accusations. It was termed as a scientific accident, something that was not intended. Intended or not, the debate has given a new dimension to the ensuing tension between the two superpowers. But how does a spy balloon work? Balloons offer a few advantages over the use of satellites or drones. Moreover, not only are they cheaper than launching satellites into space, but by operating within the bounds of the Earth's atmosphere, closer to the surface, they can obtain better quality images. Not only that, but balloons can soar above the range of most planes, and their slow speed means they aren't always picked up by radar. Additional technology or paint can help to conceal them further. Balloons also have an advantage over satellites because they are more maneuverable and they can be controlled easily, unlike a navigating satellite, which is a complicated matter. The motion of a satellite is highly predictable, whereas a spy balloon offers the chance for an unexpected overflight, which is a great advantage in modern warfare. On one hand, we have some technical advantages of using spy balloons, and on the other hand, there are some cost advantages as well. A satellite may cost up to $300 million over its lifetime. According to an estimate from 2020, even the most high-tech balloon would be lots cheaper. Since the appearance of the spy balloon, tensions between the two superpowers have escalated, and there are some big questions revolving around the future. The downed spy balloon has raised some diplomatic tensions between the two giants. The decision by the White House to shoot down the balloon has erupted a furious reaction from Beijing. Terming the happening as irrational and offensive, the Chinese Foreign Ministry expressed strong dissatisfaction and protest against the U.S. shooting down what Beijing calls a civilian unmanned airship. The officials maintain that the balloon's travel trajectory close to critical defense sites proves it wasn't some benign meteorological airship. Furthermore, Beijing wasn't happy that Antony Blinken has postponed his visit due to the incident. The video of the balloon being shot down began to circulate all over the globe, showing screen grabs of U.S. news stations reporting the incident. The incident has inspired Chinese social media users to call the object a wandering balloon, comparing it to the hit Chinese sci-fi movie Wandering Earth. Some users even compared the balloon to a sky lantern, popularly used in China's Lantern Festival, which is celebrated on the 5th of February each year. Now, putting it all into perspective, according to the statement by the Chinese embassy in Washington, China has its right to respond. Beijing isn't backing down from its position. All of this can have serious consequences for the region, with both superpowers maintaining their stance. The tensions escalated further after a speech that will probably go down in the history books. It goes without saying that China is the greatest long-term challenger to American power, and the spy balloon episode that unfolded has just proved everything. It wasn't the first time that Chinese balloons have crossed into U.S. airspace. In what was simultaneously a moment of geopolitical high stakes and high farce, the White House struggled to explain why it hadn't immediately burst the balloon as officials in South Carolina warned people not to take pot shots at the high-flying Chinese intruder with their rifles. This is what left President Biden looking for answers, as the Republican critics pounced. While Beijing expressed unusual regret for the incursion of what it claimed was a weather monitoring airship, its critics see the incident as the latest example of a brazen willingness to flex its power outside its region, to trample established rules between nations, and as more evidence of an aggressive attempt to expand its influence and intelligence operations around the world, which have targeted businesses, universities, and Chinese Americans as well as traditional targets. No doubt the situation has raised some serious questions, but there are some immediate questions that President Biden must answer. The aftermath of the crisis poses tough questions for the Biden administration. How will the latter cope with Chinese response, and what if the response comes as an offensive? The U.S. military must explain why the balloon was not shot down before traversing the continental U.S., and now the incident threatens to open up tensions between the Pentagon and an under-fire White House over the handling of the incident. Now, Biden might have gotten under some fire. Biden's decision not to shoot down the balloon until it was over the Atlantic coast offered an easy opening to Republicans, keen to label him as weak before his expected re-election bid. Republicans have long seen hawkishness as a political weapon, but many Democrats also see China as a rising threat, which is likely to trigger hardline policies that will deepen America's estrangement with its rival. While the Biden administration has faced criticism for not publicizing the balloon earlier in the week, the idea that the president is in China's pocket is belied by a policy toward the communist giant that has cranked up a confrontational stance adopted by Trump. The ex-president had initially cozied up to Xi and agreed to a failed trade deal before turning on Beijing when a pandemic that originated in China threatened his re-election bid. There's absolutely no doubt that Biden has strived to deepen ties with Asian allies, especially when it comes to stand against the communist regime in China, and also designed to gain access to bases in the Philippines. He has also sought to bolster Western access and manufacturing of semiconductors in a blow to China. If any foreign autocrats see Biden as a soft touch, all they have to do is look at the multi-billion-dollar effective proxy war he's fighting against Russia in Ukraine, in the biggest mobilization of the Western alliance since the Soviet Union fell. The future may have some unforeseen circumstances, considering the downed spy balloon. The political storm could create conditions in the U.S. that will complicate efforts to avert the dangerous plunge in Sino-U.S. relations. Biden further escalates the U.S. rejection to the incident after shooting down the balloon. He could create a furious counterreaction in Beijing that will make tensions even worse. So what do you think about the spy balloon controversy? Will there be a retaliation from Beijing, or will the two superpowers resolve it over the table? Let us know in the comments section below. Make sure you press the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next video.